I think I'm just sort of used to that and like kind
independent,
of, yeah, just always just rely on myself, really. Almost like ballsy, you know, it makes a statement to have that style of work on you. South London's the best ever. It's like such a great vibe. I love it. I think because my work is quite dark, people assume that it's going to really hurt a lot.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lloyd and this is a 21st Century Tattoo. Perfect. Loz, hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me down.
You're super welcome. Thanks for coming.
Sunday. Yeah, so good. I love this new studio.
Thank you.
Why don't we start with talking about this? Because this is so new.
Yeah,
I think
very new.
When I got here, you were talking about, was it early June you took it over?
Yeah, 10th of June we got the keys and we just smashed out in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Working from sort of like 7 in the morning till like 10, 11 at night, just every day, just like working our asses off to get it ready.
Mad.
So yeah, you're like one of the first people to see it. It's like exclusive.
Have you been tattooing here already?
No, not yet.
You haven't done any work here yet?
Tuesday is my first day tattooing here. I'm excited. It's weird though because we're so used to like being here in the capacity of just like hanging out and doing it up.
Yeah.
So to actually work in here and have people in here is going to be super weird. I'm like, what are you doing in here?
Having it busy. So tell me who you've got working here. I've got so many questions. Let's start with the actual how did you come across it?
So my business partner and I, Lana, she does tooth gems. She teaches like courses for safe application of tooth gems and she also applies them herself. She needed somewhere to work from. We'd always sort of talked about maybe potentially opening somewhere together.
Yeah.
But it was sort of one of those conversations that was like, you know, just like hypothetically, if we had a studio, it would be, you know, it would be like this, but it was never like something that we ever thought was going to happen. And then one day she was sort of just like, well, what if like we actually just did that?
Why don't we just do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the timing was right.
Yeah. She needed somewhere new to work from. And she was like, why don't we just do it? And I was like, yeah. You come from Parliament? You came from Parliament, didn't you, before here? Yeah, I was at Parliament for about a year-ish, just under a year. And I loved it there. It's like such a nice shop to work at. It was always like a bit of a dream to work there, to be honest. Yeah,
it's mad. That studio's been going a long time. I had one piece done by a guest artist there years ago. Yeah. So I haven't been there recently. Really cool studio.
Yeah, it's sick.
It must have been quite difficult to leave, really.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're going to leave Parliament, it's good for it to be, you know, your own studio that you're setting up. I can't imagine that I would really leave there to work at a different studio. So, but yeah, it's where I used to get tattooed, like before I was even tattooing. Like, I remember thinking, like, fuck, if I could work here, that would be amazing.
That was the goal.
So to work there was like, it was a dream come true. And it's great. It's just so many good artists there and it's really nice. But yeah, super happy to be here at my own.
Yeah, it's nice. I didn't actually realise that you hadn't kind of opened properly to the public and customers yet. Love what you've done. Like you've really you've nailed that like clean and minimal aesthetic. We'll show some shots in there on the YouTube channel as well.
Nice.
But I love what you've done.
Thank you.
It's really cool. What's your kind of ambition with it? What's the goal?
We just want to create like a really nice working environment for people. I guess like obviously, you know, you open your own studio because it could potentially do well from a business sense, but also we just sort of wanted to create like the ideal space that both of us wanted to work in. So really like we just want a nice environment where like we can have like meet other artists and just have this like nice creative like space where everyone's like inspiring each other. And
yeah, you say you don't live far away as well. It kind of just becomes like I spend all my every week an hour at the shop.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere where you kind of feel comfortable.
Yeah, I literally just want to be here all the time. I love it. Like when I'm not here, I've had like my first proper day off the other day, and I felt a bit lost not being here.
I bet. I can't get over the fact you've done it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been intense. Very tired.
Yeah. No, honestly, congratulations. Massive congrats.
Thank you.
Guest question from the previous episode. Yeah. Let's start with that. So the last question that was left for you was, if you could tattoo in any venue in the world, where would it be?
Oh, wow. That's a really, really hard question.
Where have you done so far? Conventions? Have you done anywhere?
I've worked at Brighton Convention and what other conventions? Oh, Bristol, of course, obviously, Bristol and Brighton. And then I actually worked one in Singapore, which was pretty amazing.
Mad.
It was like what's it called? Culture Cartel Con or something like that. So it's not just tattoos, it's like they had like graffiti artists and tattooers, like fashion, all kinds of stuff.
Did you do that with South City?
Yeah, that was with South City.
I think I remember it.
Yeah, that was super cool. So yeah, I've done a few. But then obviously COVID hit and like no one did anything for ages. But yeah, I don't know. Oh God, that's such a hard question.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
Where would I? I'm trying to think. Where I was talking to a previous guest that was with Delphin Muscat, and he was talking about like, tattooing in mad places. Imagine being the first artist on fucking Mars.
Yeah, that's
crazy
mad.
Shit. Do you know what I mean? Just like pushing the boundaries, doing it anywhere, tattooing onto water.
Something cool. Yeah, somewhere like super. Yeah, like the fucking Colosseum or something. Imagine just like this mad, crazy place and you're just tattooing there.
Yeah,
that would be insane.
Love it. Tell us about your style then, for anyone who's not met you or hasn't seen any of your work. How would you define your style itself?
I call it fine line blackwork. Because I'm lining everything with like a tight 3. I used to use bolder lines, and now recently I'm kind of like refining it slightly. So it's like it's blackwork, but everything's done with super fine lines, and it's like generally pretty detailed. So yeah, always just solid black and lines.
Loads of contrast.
Yeah, like dark,
real saturation. No, it's cool stuff.
Thank you.
You've obviously got a specific style. I'm so fascinated by how you can almost see people's styles within the work. You know, there's no way to actually really pinpoint why. It's though maybe the way the shading's done or the shape of the designs. You know, but you can see that that's your work.
Thank you. That's nice.
There's little barbed wire pieces. What, I don't know, are they thorns? I don't know how you would...
thorns, barbed wire, do it all.
Yeah. Who is the real Loz Tattooer?
Oh, God. Fucking hell, I don't know if you want to know that.
I want to know.
In what sense? What do you want to know?
What do I want to know? I guess I kind of want to know, like, where did you kind of... How did you get to this point today? Where did it kind of come from? Your artistic...
Yeah. I've always been artistically inclined. Like, since I was tiny, all I wanted to do was draw, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've always been into art. I don't know, like, I feel like everything that's happened has just sort of been, like, very... I don't know, it's just been, like, lucky. Like, I don't know, I feel like I've just been, like, right place, right time and knowing the right people to be able to get me to, like... this point. But yeah, I'd always wanted to tattoo, but I just never thought that it would ever be something that would be achievable. Like in my mind when I was younger, I was like, a tattoo artist, they're like
so you knew
cool.
you knew that was what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'd always had a fascination with tattoos. It was since I was quite young, and always knew I wanted to be like heavily tattooed and was into art, so I was like, it'd be sick to be a tattoo artist. But then yeah, it's quite, I don't know, it just feels like a really unachievable thing. Like it did for me anyway.
Yeah. I mean, when did you kind of do your apprenticeship? How did you kind of get into the actual industry itself?
So I did my apprenticeship at South City. I had a friend who was working there. This was like right when they first opened. So it must have been like, I guess like 4 years ago, maybe.
Has it only been 4 years ago?
Yeah. So yeah, a friend that I went to uni with, actually, she was like the only artist there. It was just like her and Ricky. And I saw that she was working there at this like new shop that had opened up, and I was like, oh, this shop's a 5-minute walk from my house. Like maybe this is like the opportunity for me to be able to actually get into tattooing. So I just like literally messaged her and was like, can I be an apprentice there? She was like, yeah, I'll speak to the boss. And then, Ricky, I just asked Ricky if I could be the apprentice there. And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, just
didn't look at my work.
Really?
No.
Wow. Okay, fine. Just
didn't look at my work. Just needed a hand at the shop, I think, and I was there at the right time.
Yeah. Did you find yourself kind of just like helping around the studio before, or was it like straight into tattooing?
It was pretty fast, I've got to say. Like I was sort of just helping out and, you know, doing some like designs and stuff. And I had tattooed a little bit before I started my apprenticeship, just like, you know,
scratching.
Scratching. Yeah, bought a shit tattoo machine off of eBay and absolutely destroyed my thighs and my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. I wouldn't recommend anyone doing that. It's really bad. But yeah, that's what I did. So I'd done it a little bit, but not to any sort of reasonable standard. It was like pretty terrible tattoos that I was doing. So yeah, once I did start at South City, I was kind of allowed to just sort of get into it pretty quickly, like as long as I had friends who would let me practice on them.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, just go for it.
How did that blackwork style how did that develop? Was that something that you've envisioned, or has that just naturally happened?
It was actually kind of like suggested to me. So originally I wasn't drawing in that style, and I think it was Ricky actually that said, oh, like this is really cool, this like style of tattooing is really cool, why don't you try and draw some stuff like that? And as soon as I started drawing in that style, I was like, oh, this is like up my street, you know, like I just found that like inspiration was kind of like coming to me more, and I was like really motivated to draw more. I just like it. I like how kind of like dark and bold it is. I like tattoos that from a distance you can see it and it's like impactful, you know?
Yeah, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the one I pointed out on your arm as well.
Yeah.
Like you can, even from miles away, I think that's the best work, isn't it?
Sure.
When I had my apprenticeship, my mentor, I mean, she'd been tattooing so long, but she said like the best tattoos are the ones with the areas of them, like with the most contrast, you know?
Yeah.
Areas of just skin and black.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that. My brain doesn't work in that way. So when I was like looking at your work, I don't think I could draw up stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how you perceive stuff.
I think it's like anything. The more you do it, the more you learn, you know, it's like practice.
Yeah.
Because, I was the same at first, you know, it's like, you got to learn it.
Do people come to you with an idea for a project, or is a lot of that stuff kind of available, designs and pre-drawn stuff?
It's a bit of a mix, to be honest. Like, I think it's the same as anyone in it. You post it on Instagram, people see it, and then a million people ask you for that one thing.
It's so frustrating. And people I've had people say, I can't see any lines on your feed. Does that mean you don't do them, or you can't do them?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does mean that.
Yeah, it does mean that. Lines, pocket watches, any of that. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of...
No, I do draw up sort of like concepts pretty rarely. It's pretty rare that I've even got the time to be able to draw something that's not custom work. But it's a bit of a harder sell. I don't know, people put you in a box, don't they? They like have certain things that they know you for, and that's what they ask you for, which is also great because it's like, you know, it's cool to have like signature things that people want from you. Yeah. And for people to even
like the thorns.
People to even want to get tattooed by you at all is amazing. But like, it's hard to break out of certain things once you become known for them, isn't it? But yeah, at the moment I'm trying to push like slightly bigger pieces, more like kind of larger scale.
I think I saw some of the bits as well again on your socials, like maybe like those like solid black. Is it? I don't know how you describe it. Is it almost like neo-tribal? Kind
of, yeah, like more like ornamental tribal kind of like, just large scale, impactful. I always like to challenge myself. Like if I feel like I'm getting a bit stagnant, I'll just like draw up something wild and be like,
let's do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm doing slightly the opposite, and kind of I'm trying to come away from the real big scale stuff now. Yeah. And I'm almost find myself just getting smaller and smaller. I'm trying as much as I can to try and perfect like single needle stuff. Yeah. I just get so obsessed with the real small details. You know what I mean? Moving away from day sessions. How do you prefer just having one client in for the day, or do you
just have a day session? It's
okay.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. It's pretty rare though. I don't often have. I'll usually sort of do like 3 clients in a day. People want smaller things, I think, like generally.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare to have a client who will give you their entire like back, for example.
And then commit to the appointments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
once they get the email back that's like, all right, it's going to take this many sessions and it's going to be this much, and they're like, oh shit, that's quite the commitment.
Yeah. And regularly and
yeah. Whereas, you know, like little bangers that take like a couple of hours, and people like, especially if you're collecting pieces as well, you know. I'm the same. Like I like to collect loads of little pieces from different artists. So
I wish I'd saved a bit more space as well now. Like I got so many when I was younger. Didn't research the artists enough. And yeah, now I'm kind of, you can see how much work is out there, and like there's so much stuff I want to get, you know. And I wish I'd save bits
got no space
for little bangers, you know. Well, I have got space, but like I'll be cramming stuff in now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's cool. Where do you kind of find the inspiration for that stuff then? There's not, I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of people doing that blackwork style.
No, there's not actually. It's weird. I feel like that style, there's more people doing it in like Eastern Europe and Germany. In the UK, there's not that many people doing it.
Why do you think it is?
I don't know. I've thought about this before. I'm like, why is this not like more popular? Maybe it's terrible.
Is it? Do you think? No, not at all. Do you think it's maybe a reflection of the client base, or is it more a reflection of the environment?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's quite a dark style, isn't it? It's like quite kind of gritty and almost like ballsy, you know. It makes a statement to have that style of work on you. So maybe, like, you know, Eastern Europe, Berlin, there's a lot of like that kind of style of work where it's a bit more of a bit more of like a
it's probably a mixture of
alternative kind of scene. I don't know,
a mixture of both, definitely.
Yeah, I get inspiration from everywhere, really. I find traveling really inspirational, you know, like when you go away and you kind of see different things and you get like a new lease of life and a new set of like...
Yeah, it's inspiration, isn't it, from everyone pulling that together. Is there anywhere that you've not been that you would really like to go to then?
God, so many,
How do you find the time? This is what
This is the problem.
I can never understand this with people. Like I don't know how people find the time to do all of this stuff. Like I'm struggling to even just like keep the podcast going and tattooing. Never mind conventions and actually like doing guest spots abroad and having a personal life. Yeah, for sure.
No, it's really hard. Yeah, it's hard. There's loads of places I want to go. I really want to go to Mexico.
But just for a holiday or for work?
Tattoo. I want to go to Mexico City and tattoo there. I think it would be cool. And then maybe just sneak in a little holiday at the same time. There's loads of places that I would love to tattoo.
The States? Have you done the States?
The US. I just got back from LA actually a few weeks ago. That was really cool. I tattooed at Strange Love, which was also like a bit of a dream to tattoo there because Han Shinko is one of my favourite artists. He is there. So that was really cool to like watch him work and tattoo alongside him. I'd love to go back to the States and go to like, you know, different places over there, New York and
that'll be the one. West Coast as well. Like I've always said that there's some seriously good artists over that side, like California way.
Yeah, San Diego as well. That's got a fucking sick tattoo scene. I'll
just add it to the list.
I know, it's just so many places that I want to go.
How did you like sort all of that out then? Was it difficult to get it sorted at that studio? And
not really. Well, I literally just emailed them and asked them. I literally just sent an email and I was like, I'm coming to LA, please, can I work at your shop?
There's probably even less of that blackwork style in the States.
Yeah.
Is that quite like
I think...
Is it a thing over there?
No, not really. I think... So I was quite busy when I was over there, and I think that's why, like, there's not really anyone else doing that kind of style.
Good for you, though.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Got a monopoly on the market.
That's it. Literally have. Yeah, so they probably I don't see much of that stuff coming out from over there.
No.
But yeah. Do you, any other like any actual artists maybe, for instance, like where you get that inspiration from?
I am actually finding myself recently getting more inspiration from like fine line tattooers than I am from people who do similar style to me. Like Getting tattooed by Ken Carlos, that was like a crazy source of inspiration for me, just like watching him work, and the way that he tattoos and his use of like, super fine lines. And I find that I'm getting more inspiration from that kind of thing recently, just like detail. I'm kind of like more inspired.
More. How now that you've got this place set up, then obviously this is like a fresh thing. Are you going to find it difficult, do you think, to kind of come away from this? Because this must be your baby, you probably don't want to leave this alone.
I know. I've had thoughts about that actually, and I'm
do you think they'll maybe quieten down the guest spots and stuff, or?
Yeah, I think I will. I mean, I'm going to Berlin actually at the end of this month, so that'll be my first sort of like trip away since we've opened, and I'm a bit like anxious about that because it is my baby, and I'm like, what's going to happen when I'm gone? But obviously it's me and Lana that are doing it together, so she's gonna hold down the fort while I'm gone, and I like trust her. She's very like on it with everything, so it's kind of, it takes the pressure off a little bit, like going in with a friend doing it.
That's it. I think that's the key to the success. I don't know of many people that have maybe done it just on their own and kind of successfully ran it. It takes a team to do it.
Yeah, of course.
And people that you trust, look at any of the really sort of successful big studios, at least in this country. And I think there's always there's a couple of people behind it. It's a full team. I think it was when I was talking to Tyler, we were talking about how she values her studio as like it's a collaboration of all the people in it. You
can tell that as well. Like I've guested there. It's a really cool vibe. Like there's a couple of places where I've guested at and I've been like, this is exactly the kind of vibe that I want for my studio. That was one of them. And then Strange Love in LA as well, where there's just like, you can just tell that everyone really cares and like everyone does really get on, and it's like a collaborative effort, and like everyone's really invested in each other and wants each other to do well.
Yeah, to succeed. Yeah. I never understand the mentality of like, people seem to think that it's like a no-sum game, like if they're successful, that means that I'm not succeeding. I'm all about kind of bigging people up and helping each other out. Too. You've got to, you don't get anywhere by just like trampling on people. No. I can never understand that mentality, and unfortunately, there are still some of those people in the industry. I'm not going to name names.
No, I feel like there's a lot of that in the industry. It's like hugely competitive and can be quite toxic, I think.
Yeah.
People don't want to see you do well if they've got their own thing going on.
Have you come up against any of that maybe over there? So you worked at South City, didn't you? And then went to Parliament, is that right? Yeah. Maybe not with those studios, but have you come across any issues maybe once you open this place?
I mean, it's still pretty fresh, so far so good. But I'm sure there'll be people who won't want to see me succeed, maybe people who own other shops. I don't know, like maybe I'm just being cynical. Maybe like everyone's going to be super happy for me and it's going to be like a really easy ride. But I think there is, even just from seeing like, friends open studios and, them coming up against people trying to bring them down, like it does happen. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
It's weird because it seems like in like a lot of other industries, it's not the case, but for some reason within tattooing it's this like really territorial crazy thing of like, if you open a shop in London, it's like all the other people who own shops in London are like fuming about it.
Oh man. Well, there's some places in the UK still I think are quite like heavily run by bikers,
there's that whole
like you physically can't open a shop up without like hear stories about people coming round and threatening. I can't believe it still
crazy.
Goes on. I
feel like that's changing though.
It is changing. Yeah.
I think like, it's not as bad as it used to be. There's still a little bit of it. I don't know. I think you just got to stay in your lane, haven't you? As long as you're like, just got to focus on what you're doing and not let anyone else bother you.
Yeah. Bit of healthy competition as well, That's what it's about.
Be bad,
it's good. Of course it's not, because you need that drive, you need that motivation. Yeah. Yeah, the whole gatekeeping mentality. I always mention this and talk about it. When did you get into the industry? How long have you been tattooing now?
I've been tattooing for about 4 years.
Fine. Mad then.
Not very long, really.
No. I mean,
and 2 of those years was COVID. So I don't really know if that even counts because I obviously wasn't tattooing. So
yeah.
Yeah, not very long at all. And I know that it's a bit like frowned upon, in it, to open your own shop if you've only been tattooing for 4 years.
But this is the thing. This is the point. Like, is it? And like,
why not?
You get this like imposter syndrome, and it's kind of like, can I? Am I allowed to open my own shop?
I have had these thoughts during the whole process of opening a place. Of being like, oh God, what are people going to think? You know, like, I've not been tattooing for that long.
Yeah. Fuck them. We're all going to die anyway.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'm just out here trying my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the day-to-day stuff of like dealing with creative blocks, which I'm assuming you must get, like every artist, and dealing with the stress of the day-to-day stuff, you know? I really personally struggle sometimes, you know, if you're not in the right headspace before you get to work, and then, or you've got other external issues, you have to kind of like leave it at the door, because if I'm not on my game mentally, then I feel like my work could suffer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I actually find that working is quite a nice like distraction for me from that kind of thing. Like, if I'm not in a good place, like going to work and sort of just focusing on tattooing it's quite nice, like, to have that distraction. But yeah, no, it's difficult. It's really difficult. And I think like just generally, like, it's quite a stressful thing to be doing. Like, it's a huge amount of responsibility, and like it can get a bit much sometimes.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this, you know, if you stop and think about it, what you're doing, you know.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, you can't really think about it that much, but it does sometimes sort of like get a bit overwhelming. I don't know, like, therapy, basically. I just go to therapy.
This is therapy.
Yeah.
Tattooing is therapy, I guess, isn't it? Do you have therapy?
Yeah, I love therapy. I think everyone should go to therapy.
Mad. How did you kind of come around getting that?
I just was in a bit of a shit place and was like, this is something that's got to change. And yeah, that's just what you do, innit? You just go to therapy.
What do you find, like, just talking about stuff?
Yeah, you just sort of go there and then you talk about it to someone who's like, you know, a non-judgmental person who's not involved in your life in any way. And then you can just sort of leave it in there, in that space, and then just go about your life outside of there, knowing that you've sort of like, you know, got it all out, dealt with it, and you can then just compartmentalize things. Yeah, I think that sort of helped me quite a lot in being able to deal with all of the stresses of life, tattooing, whatever.
And where did that come from? Where did that stem from, those sort of that kind of need into, or feeling, do you know what I mean, feeling like you need to kind of have someone to talk to about stuff? If that makes sense.
I don't know, really. It just seemed a given. I was just like, oh, I'm struggling, I'll go to therapy. I don't know. That's just...
There's so many people, I think, that, I mean, as a bloke, maybe you're different. I think a lot of men in particular kind of struggle with like day-to-day stuff, but we don't talk about it, you know?
No, yeah, it's definitely a bit of a, like, I think for men it's especially hard, like, to open up about the way that you feel and deal with the way that you feel.
Probably not. Do I need to? Probably yes.
Yeah, I think everyone can benefit from it.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, even if you think that you're fine, you know, you go and you talk about stuff and you kind of like realize things about yourself and you're like, oh, maybe this is like affecting me in a way that I didn't even know. It's just about sort of like realizing why you feel the way that you feel about certain things, and then you can be a more like a better rounded person, like in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
In just dealing with it. I'm so passionate about therapy. I'm like, everyone should go to therapy.
That's
it's
so
the best
good.
thing ever.
It's good that you have the awareness for that as well. Like, I find I put a lot of value in work, and then when I didn't, especially with COVID, I think that exacerbated the problem. I do suffer with my mental health for sure.
I think it's hard not to in this environment where like the world is literally falling to pieces. I think it's weird to not
It literally is.
have some kind of issue with that, you know?
Yeah.
It's been a very hard few years for everyone. Like, especially for tattooers, you know, not being able to work for a good 2 years.
Did you struggle with it?
Yeah, so much. It was so hard. Like, and I was like, you know, at the beginning, I was like, oh, a bit of time off. Like, I'll have some time to draw. I'll just get loads of like flash done, loads of designs. And then I did absolutely nothing because I was so uninspired. I had a total creative block. Didn't want to draw, didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Just like really shut down completely. And then you're like, what am I going to, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll never tattoo again. Like,
yeah,
it's mad.
The first 2 weeks were like a holiday.
Yeah, because the weather was good.
Yeah, but
like,
even then I was like, and then the realisation that it could kind of carry on, how long it was going to go on for, you know.
Because it was completely unknown as well, you know, like.
And not working. Yeah, I kind of needed something to keep me busy, so we took a lease over for a studio. So that kind of, I did that stuff up, then I banged that out in like 4 weeks. I'm like, right, that's done. COVID's still a thing, I'm still not working. And
yeah, it was stressful.
Yeah, it was killer. It really was. So yeah, kind of having that distraction to tattoo, like I do find it really helps. You almost find that we become therapists. Then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so weird, you know. Kind of talking to these people, I'm like not giving advice, but like I'm listening to myself, and I'm like, I need to take my own advice.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, you know. You kind of get all walks of life and all sorts of people coming in for work. I just think it's just crazy that we're in such a fortunate position to be able to kind of help these people as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's great. Have you got any exciting projects on the go at the minute?
Yeah, I do actually. I just started something the other day that I'm really excited about. A big sort of, like neo-tribal back piece that goes sort of like down onto the bum, like super nice. Yeah, I've lined it. I've just got to do all the black now, which is a lot of black. So
talk me through that then. Is it all like big mag packing? Well, how do you go about doing all of that?
Yeah, I will use a pretty decent sized mag. I use a Bishop for everything. Bishop packer, just use that for everything now.
Yeah.
And yeah, just get a big old mag in there, and I try and do everything in one pass, just like really hammer it in the first time, not going over anything. It's very easy to overwork black. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
It's it's something that gives me anxiety on a daily basis.
Yeah, I bet. Like for me, I personally am not a massive fan of packing a load of black in. Not that I find it tedious, but like
it is.
Well, so do you find it that?
Yeah, when it's like big areas of black like that, it's tedious, and it's also really physically demanding. Like the stretch that you have to get on the skin is like you really have to stretch the skin out to be able to pack that black in. That it's like really nice and saturated.
I think
so
to
if you're
the
doing a whole day of that, you're fucked by the end of it.
Yeah, everything. Arms.
Your arms
back.
Your hands, like. Yeah, I'm just moaning about having the best job in the world, but yeah, it's oh god, it's so hard to just draw pictures on people for.
But people don't. To the untrained eye, I don't think people realise this, and like I think people would look at like a blackout sleeve and think, "Fucking hell, that's a piece of piss."
Yeah,
it's like it's not, and you really got to be keeping an eye on what you're doing because you're either not missing bits or you're not overworking the skin, and I don't think people quite realise that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I wouldn't have it any other way. But then,
yeah, I mean, it's all hard. All tattooing's like hard to some extent. You know, doing something super tiny with like a single needle's like a whole new level of hard. Like I can't do it. You know, it's just.
But you're locked in now as well.
Yeah, literally made my bed.
Can you see your style changing or developing, or do you think this is you now?
I think it has actually changed and developed quite a lot since I started.
Where is it in the next few years? Where can you see it going?
I don't know, like bigger stuff, more like kind of stuff where you're utilising the whole body. Like I'd love to do bigger pieces, like bodysuits and stuff like that. That's a whole like realm of tattooing that I've not really explored that much. And for me, that's the stuff that I find really impressive. Like, artists like, you know, like Kieran Williams and like, people doing these mad big bodysuits.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool to try and do that.
Do you follow, what's his name? Is it Oscar Hove?
He actually did, my back piece is a collaboration between him and Joao Bosco.
Mad.
So that kind of stuff is really cool.
I'll have to have a look at that in a minute.
Yeah, that was an intense day. Yeah, they did it, both of them together, just smashed the whole thing out in one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair.
Never again.
You're off your head.
Yeah, no, I know I am. It was like 3 hours in and I was like, nah, I can't do this anymore. And there was still like another 4 hours to go. And
is it more painful having two people on it?
Yeah, because one, you know, like when you're getting tattooed, there's little breathers because they have to, you know, I don't know, dip the ink or whatever.
Yeah.
With two, one of them stopped, but the other one's still going. So it's just literally constant. Yeah, awful. Really terrible.
Get yourself
decision.
into like a head. How do you? I think one of the first things you said to me is like, I fucking hate getting tattooed.
I hate it.
Yeah, same here.
Horrible, isn't it?
Well, no, I love the end. I love it at the end.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, at the time, it's horrible.
I think the more tattoos you get, the more you hate it because.
And I feel like the older you get.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Pain tolerance just goes down.
Yeah. No, I absolutely hate getting tattooed. I think, the only person that I look forward to getting tattooed by is Ken Carlos because he's so light-handed and he's such a nice guy. So it's just a nice experience. But yeah, everyone else, I'm just like, this is torture.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. A lot of it does depend on the artist. Would you say you're quite heavy-handed? Or are you
I've actually been told the opposite.
Okay, good.
I think because my work is quite dark, people assume that it's going to really hurt a lot. But yeah, I'm not using coils or anything. I think that makes a big difference, doesn't it? I'm
not a banned coils from my studio. I can't be dealing with that. I'm so over it. I think with the machines now, have you tried the liner, the Bishop liner?
Yeah, I have.
So powerful.
It's nice, yeah.
Really, really good. I don't know whether you could, like, there's probably too much in it for what you do.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm only using really fine lines for lining, and then you don't want anything too crazy powerful for... Well, I don't anyway. The way that I work, I don't want anything that's too much for packing black because it's so easy to overdo it. So, yeah, for me, the packer's perfect for everything. But yeah, that liner's nice. If you're putting in like bigger lines,
big bold lines, yeah,
it's nice. Yeah, I think these machines, they're coming on such a way, aren't they? Like, for me, there's no need for a coil with what I'm doing.
No,
it's just pointless. You're hurting your client more. You're getting tinnitus because you've got this noise in your ear all day, every day. Your hands are fucking buzzing. Like, it's just not, Yeah,
it's horrible. I mean, I learnt on them and I would never go back. But I can appreciate people that use it, you know.
No, it's a nice thing, collecting loads of machines, and it's cool, like the history behind it.
Oh God, yeah, 100%. That's a lot of tattooing, and a lot of what I'm like so fascinated about tattooing, and that's one of the reasons why I do the podcast and going and meeting people. You know, it's just the culture of it, and kind of hearing. I just like respecting the culture. You know, I read up on it. I'm a proper tattoo nerd anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't go back to them.
Yeah, no, never.
Way.
I think once you make that switch, it's almost impossible to go back in it.
Definitely. What's your biggest weakness?
Probably my anxiety, I would say. I'm a very, very anxious person. I overthink absolutely everything. And yeah, I'm trying to change this at the moment, but I've always turned things down because I've been too anxious. And I think that's probably held me back quite a lot in the past. Just like people asking me to do stuff. And I'm like, oh no, I couldn't possibly do that because I'm so anxious. Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's hard to overcome. But yeah, that's definitely my biggest weakness, 100%.
Yeah.
What's yours?
What's my biggest weakness? Yeah, overthinking.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a big one, isn't it?
It really is. And it, like you say, it holds you back. I've got so many. I've got I think it's so important to reflect on stuff, you know, because like life is, if anything, it's about self-improvement. And I'm really, I kind of I disregarded it for so long, you know. I'm just like, well, that's just who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I've probably been quite immature and brash in the past, you know, and now like I kind of really reflect on what I am doing and why I behave a certain way, and yeah, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to try and improve. Yeah, I'm quite opinionated. I think that's a big weakness of mine.
Do you think that's a weakness?
I don't know.
I quite like opinionated people.
Do you?
I think there's so many people that are just like trying to be non-controversial all the time. I think it's
conformist.
Quite
Yeah,
it's quite nice when someone's like, I like it. I really like opinionated.
Oh,
I
good.
think being opinionated is a good thing.
Sweet, well, we'll get on then. But sometimes I think like I find myself saying stuff and I'm like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is shit. That's not good. Don't like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I know how I want stuff in my head, so it's probably helped me in some ways. But then people must find me so irritating sometimes because everyone, you know, I mean, we're all different. Do you know what I mean? I've got quite firm opinions on stuff, and I should probably keep them to myself a little bit more.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, fair.
Get those opinions out there, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Just try to dig myself a fucking grave. What do you value most in life? I'm hitting you with the deep ones today.
Yeah, that is deep. God, there's a lot of things I value. I don't know, that's really hard. I value travel a lot, I think. Like, travel is the one thing that I think is something that brings the most to my life. When I travel, I'm at my happiest. Yeah. Travel, friendship, like proper friendships, like genuine friendships. Because I think as well in this industry, I think there's a lot, you know, you meet a lot of people, but sometimes it's hard to form sort of genuine friendships. So those ones that I do have, I really value those a lot. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I find it difficult. I find it difficult to have friends.
I do, yeah.
I know that sounds really.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I think it's getting older. I think it's like quite a hard thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you're saying. I'm like, oh, thank fuck, because I'm not like. Yeah. I'm the same. Yeah, keeping up with stuff, you know, and like you have to specifically like find the time to. Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it?
And make sure people are okay. And I think, but like. I'm not being a proper mate, do you know what I mean? And there's events going on and I can't make stuff because I'm doing other stuff. And yeah,
it's hard. I think I found that a lot. I think living in London exacerbates that as well because London's massive. And you've got friends that live in London, but they live on the other side of London. Like everyone in London's super busy. So it's like, yeah, you've got friendships, but you find that you're sort of neglecting them and like...
It's so easy to do. Yeah. And also, like you said, in the industry, it's like you can never be sure who the real ones are.
Yeah, I find it hard trusting people for sure. Like who's my real friend and who's, you know, like...
Yeah, who's just kind of in it to take advantage or to better themselves. What about family? Like, do you come from a big or a small family?
No, my family's pretty small. Yeah, I'm an only child, which I know is like red flag. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm an only child. Yeah, pretty small family. I wouldn't say I'm super, super close to my family. They're great, but like, yeah, I've always been very independent, really independent.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. I think I almost kind of maybe see it as a bit of a like weakness to rely on other people too much. I kind of just want to like prove it to myself that I can do things on my own, and yeah, I'm not sure why that is, but yeah.
Do you think it is because you're an only child? Or
could be. Yeah, I did spend a lot of time on my own when I was a kid, so I think I'm just sort of used to that and like kind
independent,
yeah, just always just rely on myself, really. But I think that's a strength as well. Like, you know, it's nice 100%. To know that you can rely on yourself and you don't have to kind of, have other people to get you through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to be able to lean on people, but yeah, I'm the same. I value that. I don't come from a big family. only very recently am I kind of back in touch with my parents. You know, for years we never saw eye to eye.
Really?
Yeah.
Why was that? Because of tattooing, or?
I mean, why was that? I don't know. We just never. I think I kind of always resented their parenting style. They were very. It was quite a strict upbringing.
Yeah.
My mother had quite a religious upbringing.
Oh wow.
And in retrospect, you know, it was kind of like it was all to better me and help me grow. You know, I went to a good school. They put me through blah blah blah.
Sounds like maybe we had quite similar upbringings, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, like I went to a private school as well, and I really resented that because that was like absolutely not what I wanted. And,
yeah, I didn't. When I didn't do a private, I went to a grammar school, so it wasn't paid for, but it was like there was a big emphasis on succeeding in like academia.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I felt like so out of place. I'm like, I'm shit at maths. I didn't really get on with science.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they wanted me to do like medicine or be a dentist. I did work experience with dentistry. And I just like, I got to A-levels, I was in a band, I smoked loads of weed on my free periods. And I would just draw and paint.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was ever good at.
Yeah.
And the thought of like, I mentioned it, oh, no, maybe I want to do some art. It was like, no, it just got shut down. And then when I went to uni, at 18, I was like, fuck this, got covered in tattoos because I knew they didn't want me to get them.
Like a rebellion, innit?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was the same kind of thing for me. There was a little bit of a rebellious thing there where I was like, fuck you, mum, fuck you, dad. I'm gonna get loads of tattoos. And yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Northampton, which is a horrible little town in the middle of England. Yeah, it's awful. I don't know if you've ever been to Northampton.
No, I haven't.
Don't ever go there. It's terrible.
And what was the move to London? How did that happen then?
So that was to go to uni. So I went to Camberwell for about, it was like 3 months or something, then I dropped out.
Okay. Why?
Well, I don't know. Like I just think I was just in education for too long. Like after school, I just was over education, and you kind of it's just drilled into you, innit, that that's what you're supposed to do. So I was like, all right, I'll go to uni. That's just what you do. But my heart wasn't in it. I was like, just wanted to party and hang out. Yeah. So it wasn't conducive to a successful university career.
Yeah.
So
sorry, mum and dad, you know, like letting them down, you know, but like, you've got to do what you want to do. Yeah, I was like, if I could never sit an exam again in my life, like, it would be too soon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not about that at all.
No, me neither. I hated it. I was not about uni life. So yeah, I dropped out of uni and ran away to Cambodia for 2 years.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
How was that?
Great. Yeah. That was like the best time of my life.
On a gap year?
Yeah. I was that girl.
Love it.
Yeah. I was supposed to just be travelling, and then I just was there, and I got my passport stolen out of my bag, and I was supposed to fly out to Bangkok the next day, and obviously couldn't go because didn't have a passport, and it took like 2 weeks to get an emergency passport. And in that time I was just like hanging out and just fell in love with Cambodia, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay here.
Stay here for another year.
So yeah.
That's the one thing I regret. Well, not regret, I guess. You can't regret anything in life, but wish I'd done more travelling earlier.
Yeah.
It was just one thing into another, like work into uni, into tattooing.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a great thing to do when you're young.
Yeah.
I feel like you learn a lot.
What piece of advice would you give for your younger self then?
Oh, God. So there'd be so many different pieces of advice. I think like the main thing would be like to stop caring what other people think. I think that's just like been such a constant struggle. Like my whole life is just caring way too much about what other people think, and it gets in the way. That would probably be it. That, and like learn to draw, like study drawing more. So I'm not like a naturally gifted artist, really. And I would love to be. Like, I would have loved to spend a bit more time maybe, like, properly learning to draw before starting to tattoo. Because I think I was learning to do both at the same time, like learning to draw and learning to tattoo, which just, I feel like I could be a lot further along if I knew how to draw properly.
So that kind of leads me on to my next point.
Oh.
Is that then, can you be a tattoo artist, do you think, and not actually be an artist?
Yeah, these days, yeah, you can, can't you? Like, there's so many artists.
And be successful
well,
at it.
You can be a tattooer. I don't know if maybe you might not consider yourself a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads of tattooers that do, like, there's styles.
And make a career off.
So many styles that don't require you to be, like, a very, very talented drawer. Like, I'm not a very naturally gifted drawer.
See, I wouldn't know though by looking at your stuff, you know.
A lot of it's I use references all the time. Like I'm better now than I was just through doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, some people just have that innate ability to draw something
from scratch. Yeah.
From scratch, and they just have that. I don't have that. So yeah, I think if I'd have like really tried to hone in on that a bit younger, I'd be a bit further than I am now. But yeah.
Can you see yourself? Bit of a personal question, but can you see yourself having children? And would you want them to be artists, or would you like?
Yeah, I definitely want kids. I'm at the point in my life now. I think that's probably like the next big thing that I would love to achieve.
Now you've got this place open.
Yeah, this is my first baby. Maybe some more.
Yeah. You got any pets?
No, I did have a dog, but he passed away last year.
Oh no!
Very sadly. Yeah, he was a Staffy Pit cross. He was the best.
Bless.
He was great. Yeah, but at the moment, I think I would love to have another dog, but I think like now's not a good time.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on. But yeah, I would love to have kids. I don't know if I would I wouldn't particularly like want them to be an artist. I just would want them to be happy, whatever they want to do. It would be really cool. Like, obviously, I'm a tattooer, my partner's a tattooer. It would be sick to be able to pass on that craft to them and have them do the same thing. That would be, I'm sure, like every tattooer would love that.
Yeah.
But I would never pressure them to like do that.
And that's the one thing I think that I would make sure with my children is they're not, obviously if they're naturally intelligent and they enjoy studying, then cool, but like I would never push that on them, because I think it's a very old-fashioned attitude that like the only way to become successful in life is to go to uni and get a degree and go through that. I think very recently it's kind of people are coming around to that whole idea that doesn't need to happen. Yeah. If they want to come out of school I think it has to be 18 now. It used to be 16, didn't it? And go straight into work, then I'd encourage that, and do more travelling.
But how do you define success even? Like, success isn't necessarily having like a super crazy high paid job where you're like, a doctor or a lawyer. Like, success can just be like, you're happy in your life. That to me is success, I think like parents do put a bit too much pressure on their kids. And I think it makes you go the other way, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, 100%.
You just think, fuck this is stressful. I'm going to just not do any of it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I really respect my partner's parents. They seem to have nailed parenting. I can't understand it. Like, they've got 3 kids. My partner is the oldest of the 3, and every single one of them is just doing really, really well. They have an amazing relationship, and I just don't know how they managed to get that level. Yeah. By obviously not being too forceful, but being kind of firm when it needs to be. Like, and I look up to them. If I could be that sort of parent, and also my own parents now, I kind of reflect on it. I never used to. It's only very recently kind of look back and think, I kind of get why they were doing what they were doing. But yeah,
parenting's a hard one though, isn't it? You can't like judge people for the way that they parent. Parenting's like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
You're going to fuck your kids up in some way or other, no matter what you do.
Exactly. There you go. Talking about passing skills on, have you got any apprentices?
No.
Is that something that you would look at doing, or are you kind of trying to stay away from that?
I probably would, maybe a bit further down the line. It would be really cool to, take someone under my wing and like kind of teach them what I know. And if I did have an apprentice here, I would like it to be sort of like a collaborative effort between like everyone in the shop. Like I have a certain like skill set that I can pass on to someone, but like, I don't know that much about other styles of tattoo. Like, I can't tattoo in other ways, like I can't do like beautiful, soft, fine line shading and stuff. So I would love to, you
would want them to be a rounded artist.
Yeah, I think it's good. Like, I wish that I had an apprenticeship where I'd learn how to do everything. So I think it would be cool to have, like a shop apprentice where everyone was involved in helping like nurture them and help them grow. But at the moment, I don't think I will.
Yeah.
I think it's a big responsibility to take someone on in that capacity. Like, their whole career is in your hands. I'd want to make sure that I had like enough time to be able to like really give them what they wanted.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, oh yeah, like, come and be my apprentice. You can clean the shop every day and maybe like once a week I'll sit there while you do a tattoo. It's not really fair, is it?
Not at all.
So I would only take on an apprentice if I knew that I had like the time to be able to really like give them what they needed.
Yeah. No, that's like very respectable, sorry. I've got an apprentice and I'm only now really in a fortunate enough position to be able to kind of pass that on.
Yeah.
But I try and go through all of the history of stuff and like try and teach.
Yeah, I think it's important to teach them that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and even just down to like the like the skin theory. Like, my background is nursing, so I trained to be a nurse.
Oh, nice.
And an anaesthetic nurse, and like I kind
That's
of
quite a career change. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, my mum was a nurse and a midwife. My dad, and so kind of I kind of got pushed down that direction. But I understand like anatomy and physiology, so I can kind of throw a bit of that in there, which I think kind of helps.
It's a useful thing to know about.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
it's a lot of responsibility, because it's your kind of your name on that stuff, and you want to make sure that they can become the best artist that they can be.
Yeah, I think it will be something that will happen eventually. Just not right now. Too much other stuff going on.
Yeah, nice. Do you think then you've achieved what you wanted to achieve so far? Is there anything is there any sort of big goals left to achieve?
I think like one of,
because it looks from an outsider to have gotten where you've got in 4 years, have this place open.
Yeah.
Like you look like you're smashing it.
Thanks.
Is there still a desire for more?
Yeah, I think I'm never really happy is the problem. I mean, it's good in a way because it means I'm always pushing myself to achieve more.
Yeah.
I'm very like driven, ambitious person, but then it does mean that I do struggle to just enjoy what I do have. So I think, I'm never really happy with what I've got. I always want more. So obviously this is a massive achievement. I'm super like very happy with this. Like,
God, you should be so proud of yourself.
No, it's awesome. But I think like now that it's done, it's like, right, okay, what next? But I really wanted to be able to work the London Tattoo Convention, the one that's closed down. So that was like a big goal, which now it's a bit disappointing that
Tobacco Docks. Yeah. Oh no, I still don't really understand what happened there. I think wasn't one of the organisers passed away.
Yeah, and then I think probably with COVID and like, it's an expensive thing to put on.
Yeah,
I guess maybe that had something to do with it. But that was a little goal that I had in my mind, which is now unachievable. So I don't know. Besides like having your own shop,
do you think you should?
Where
are you
do
gonna
you go next? I don't know.
Yeah, like are you gonna stay living around here?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I guess so.
This
Makes
is like
sense,
yours,
doesn't it?
like
I love South London.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I get very passionate about South London. I was having this conversation because obviously I was at Parliament, which is in North London.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation
Different vibes,
literally yesterday with everyone there. I was like, South London's the best ever. It's like such a great vibe. I love it. I couldn't imagine myself living North London.
Yeah. I do. I was having a chat with Alex, who's on the camera, about coming into London. Like, I like being here. I wouldn't live here. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm a bit old and boring. I quite like it a little bit further out into Surrey, do you know what I mean? And like I can retire back into like the greenery and then come back in for work. I think so I do like it.
No, I am kind of there with you, to be honest. I think like I've been living in London for 11 years and I'm 30 now, and I'm getting to that point where I'm like, maybe it would be nice to live somewhere else. My partner's Italian. He's from the south of Italy. And I think the plan is long term to sort of settle out there.
Kids and retire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Live the dream in the countryside in the south of Italy.
Nice.
Yeah.
God, that would be good.
That's what I want to do. But yeah, obviously now with this place, that's not going to happen for a while. But yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, honestly, I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you.
And I'm just grateful that you kind of come on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
No worries at all. And like, I look forward to seeing where it all goes. You know, hopefully I'll probably end up working with you at a convention or whatever, and
awesome.
I'd like to get some pieces done for sure. But yeah, let's round it up then. I want to get you to leave a question for the next guest.
So
fire away.
I would be interested to know if they think that they would still be tattooing if Instagram didn't exist.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah, it's a big part of it, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, that's such a good question.
Thanks.
We'll see what they think. How do you, I mean, you're doing well on socials. Especially in such a short period of time. Like, what do you think?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think Instagram's just like propelled my career so much. I think like, obviously I love tattooing, but I don't know that I would probably wouldn't even have clients if it wasn't for Insta. If I was just working in a street shop, like I probably would have.
Would it just be a different platform though?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting question, isn't it? Like, because it's scary thinking like, what would happen if Instagram just disappeared tomorrow? Like, where would we all be?
That's worrying, isn't it, to think that like we all do rely on that so heavily.
So much. Like all of my clients are from Instagram, all of them pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
But how many other careers as well, like other industries are so heavily reliant on it? Would it all just move on to something else? Do you use TikTok?
No, I'm not on that yet. I'm like really, I've
only
resistant. I'm like, I'm fucking 30. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do on TikTok? Like funny little dances and
That's it, isn't it? That's exactly what I thought. And like, I guess you've just got to kind of use it to your advantage.
Yeah, no, it is something that I need to do.
It's a different market though. It's definitely a younger audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like so OCD. I mean, you could like the way I kind of have stuff produced and like I want stuff on Instagram to look good and how I want it to look. TikTok's not like that.
No.
It's more DIY and I can't, I'm so like, I hate it.
It's a whole different set of skills to create like a TikTok, innit? It's not, I don't know, it just seems like I don't know, my brain doesn't work like that. I'm like, all right, take a picture of a toe, put it on Instagram. I'm not like, all right, let me film all these things and make them into a TikTok and like think about how the
and you have to do it every day.
Teenagers on TikTok are gonna, it's hard.
I feel so old talking like this.
Yeah.
But like, you have to do it every day, constantly. Like the algorithms are set up that if you don't, like you don't get the engagement. It's just...
it's a pain in the arse, isn't it, social media?
Yeah. It is, but would we be here?
So necessary.
And there's the question for the next
that
guest.
is the question. We'll see.
Nice. Well, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. It's been
a pleasure.
Good. Nice one. Thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast this week. Don't forget to hit the bell icon and the follow button to be notified of every new release wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. I'm Alex Lloyd, and this is 21st Century Tattoo. Thanks for listening.